This has been an album I've wanted to talk about for a while. It's Justin Bieber's Journals, an album that reflected his evolving maturity and was mostly an R&B project. But it holds up today while having a nostalgic sound. Not to say an album like Believe doesn't, but Journals is special and I think especially beloved in JB stan circles from my limited interaction in those circles. I'm a newer Justin Bieber fan. Obviously I had a fringe in primary school and part of high school thanks to him, but I only stopped seeing him as that mainstream kid in 2020, when I was given a real introduction to him by a Justin Bieber stan. And while my favourite album of his is Changes and then probably Justice, Journals is then in third place and with so much love. I'm sure I'll get around to making a video on Changes and Justice in the future, but I was just feeling this album recently and think it's a good way to start any set of Justin Bieber videos I make, and I think it deserves that respect. So now that I've laid out my JB credentials, hopefully I've earned some respect or at least set some expectations for the real fans. Because in this video, we'll be going through the album track for track and I'll be ranking every single song. Which songs are great? Which songs suck? Stick around and find out. Obviously, it's all subjective. Heartbreaker is a really cool intro track and way to start the album off. There are a few songs on every album that immediately tell you, yep, this is insert album. And Heartbreaker is one of those songs to me. It's so iconic to this album, and intro songs have that luxury of being the first thing you hear with the needle drop and the pressing of play. It's so perfectly a journal song, and it does a few things uniquely. I love the little vocal breaks or spoken sections toward the end. The bridge for me though is always a bit hit and miss. It's the very first part of it that I'm sort of not in love with, but the rest of the bridge is great. But that's just me pulling at straws, because the whole song is amazing. I think it says a lot about the album that this song is coming in the 6th spot. For dramatic effect, I'd like my number 1 song to come later, but all that matters is that song. I mean, amazing beat, amazing vocals, amazing delivery. I'd like to point out which section of the song I love most, but I really can't pick. Something I did notice as I was making this ranking was that songs with a nice message or vibe are just that much more appealing to me these days, and I can't stop myself from loving them and ranking them high. I used to be a sad boy who loved sad songs, and that's how I had a song like Jaded be at the top of my Spotify Wrapped for years. But I realized either I have a weak mental, or music just hits me that hard that listening to songs like that all day just make me depressed. I say all that to say, All That Matters is like a comfort song to me these days, and I've loved it since I first heard it. It takes the top spot as the best song, my favourite, on Journals. Okay, now hold tight. Call me out if I'm wrong about this, but I've always thought JB fans found this song middling or average, or maybe just the people I interact with do. And so I always saw myself as different for liking it. The lyrics are a bit goofy, but I'm not a serious guy, so I kind of like it and find it funny. It's not a song that I'm singing with my chest unironically, but that doesn't mean it isn't good. I particularly think the vocals on this song are just nuts, especially as the song goes on, and the bridge, holy. It's a simple but fun song, and is coming in, despite what I said, in the middle of the ranking at number 8. Again, my perception of these songs may be skewed due to the way I discovered this album and was basically handheld through it by someone who loves Journals. So I view Recovery as a great or classic Journals song. Or maybe it's just the sample, shout out Craig David. But I can't help but find it a little boring or lacking. Maybe I've heard it too many times, but I don't know, I don't feel that way with other great songs. A good way to frame it, albeit completely unrelated to this ranking, is if I was ranking these songs by order of songs I'd happily live with for the rest of my life, only listening to that one song. Recovery would be pretty freaking low. I'd lose my mind. That might be harsh or uncultured, but those are my thoughts on it as of today. But as of this ranking, it's coming in the 10th spot. I'm gonna flip it into a positive to show and say just how good some of the other songs in the album are. From one amazing sample to another, Bad Day uses the Isley Brothers' Footsteps in the Dark, and it takes a cool and unique spin on it. You can definitely tell it's a shorter song. I described it as sparse as I was noting down my thoughts on each song for this, but it is good for what it is. And on the topic of sad songs, obviously once a sad boy, always a sad boy. I still love my emotional, soulful, and downbeat songs. But I feel like this one is strangely a little upbeat, probably due to the guitar and sample, so my feelings toward it are kind of mixed. There are probably 3 songs on the project I'll say I don't like and haven't saved. This isn't one of them, and is coming in number 11. Admittedly, this looks like lazy ranking, but All Bad is following the trend and going in number 12. My smooth brains is bad in both these songs next to each other in the track list, and these 2 songs are just linked to me. It's hard for me to pick a favourite really, although it would be Bad Day. I can appreciate the message and story of the song. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I love a story. But I just think this song is one of the most lacking on the project. It just feels insubstantial or that it's missing something. And I also think the effect on his voice on this song makes it stand out as different from the rest, and not in a good way, because he kills the vocals on basically every song on the album. So it makes this one sound a little less interesting. But despite that, like Bad Day, it's good for what it is. Basically meaning, in an ideal world, I could imagine it being better, but I can still definitely listen to it and enjoy it. The last spot is specially reserved for this monstrosity. I think PYD is such a wild and I'll say objectively bad song, I can't see the appeal of it. Maybe at the time it slapped, I'm not sure. It's a sex song, so they always need to be judged a little differently because you're not going to blast this on a Thursday morning while you're having your breakfast. Look, it's 5 minutes too long. I feel like I've spoken about R. Kelly too much in these videos as he keeps freaking popping up, so that doesn't help, but again, objectively, my dislike for him aside, it's a pretty shallow song. Even the term put you down is just crazy. And obviously with the way I'm talking about it, I can reveal this is one of the 3 songs that I don't have saved and do not like. But to be positive, the vocals on this are great and are accentuated over this slow beat that gives it a ton of room to be the main attraction. It's just a shame that the lyrics don't deserve to be. My feelings about Rollercoaster are a rollercoaster. Why is it 2 words? I do think this song sounds like a Michael Jackson pop record off the jump, and I like that. Working with Darkchild, legendary producer and collaborator of Michael Jackson's on his last album Believe, might have carried over and inspired a song like this. But it just doesn't do it for me. I don't like the pre-chorus, but I do like the chorus. It's a toss-up for 14th or 15th as one of the other songs that I don't have saved and don't need to hear again. But I'm gonna put it at 15th. For me, that was a pretty dreadful run of songs, but this album is really good, even if those last few songs make you doubt it. I am a Change Me lover, and my stance could never be changed. This is my fucking bag. In fact, this little run coming up is. But sticking on Change Me, it's one of my favorite JB songs, period. I think it's super unique, being this slow, serenading lullaby type of vibe. And to prove this is my shit, and because I don't know if I'll make this video for Believe, but Catching Feelings and Be Alright are probably my 2 favorite songs on that album. And it has a similar sort of slow and beautifully sung vibe. I'm a sucker for a piano and a ballad, but the lyrics are beautiful and the vocals are absurd on this track. And with all that praise and glaze, you best believe this is coming in at number 2. We get a complete vibe shift in the next song, Confident with Chance the Rapper. This song is also nuts, but for other reasons. First of all, it's such a fun and addicting track. Like, I could legit play this on repeat for an hour and not get bored. Following that logic I used for Recovery, I mean, this could be number 1. I think it's a lock for a top 5 spot on the album in anyone's rankings. Everyone has their own subjective tastes and preferences, but I think Confident speaks to everyone and is really a perfect good vibe song. I think Chance adds a lot to this song too. I think his verse and inclusion on this song is, I don't want to say needed, but definitely felt. It's a memorable verse and again, fun. For me, it's coming in the lowest spot I could possibly place it, and that is 5th place. The sequencing of this album is crazy because he's toying with my emotions here. I don't know if I should be happy or fucking crying at this point. But if this isn't classic JB, then I don't know what is. The dynamic duo or combo of this album for me has been beautiful lyrics and insane vocals, and One Life continues to do that, as has been the case with my favorite songs on this album. And I'll just say it, it's coming in the 3rd spot, but my god, it is in a bit of war with Change Me. It's at a standstill, supplies are running out, both sides want to surrender and hug it out, but shit man, I like torturing myself I guess and making videos like this. I think truthfully it depends on my mood or how I'm feeling at the moment. Even though both songs are slow, One Life feels more melancholic compared to that lullaby feel of Change Me. And I do think it being at 3 is more of a testament to Change Me in my eyes and ears than anything about One Life. And now we get into one of my sleeper picks and favorites. This is a song I don't know if I fully appreciated when I first heard it. I just don't remember, but definitely over the last year or so, I've thought this song is actually really cool. I think it's grown with my love and appreciation for Lil Wayne over the years too, but also different and weird songs. And that's definitely what this is. I like albums taking swings here and there with songs like this, and I know not everybody would agree with my take on Rollercoaster, but I much prefer a song like Backpack being that swing on this album than something like that. What do I like about it? I mean, the guitar is crazy, Wayne's verse is cool, and the story or concept of the song is fun too. But as much as I like this song, it feels wrong and a little sacrilegious to put it over songs like Heartbreaker and maybe even Hold Tight or Recovery. But fuck it, I like it and want to show it some love. It's going in the 7th spot. Alrighty, fun time's over. What's happening? As much as a Future fan as I am a firm What's Hatnin hater. Almost out of protest, to be honest. I find it gimmicky and funny, not necessarily in an insulting way, but this isn't what I want to hear from Jay Bizzle. I know he has a rap or street persona or character he channels, but like, come on. Looking at the positives, the singing bridge is nice. Future sounds good on it, but what's happening? Really? It is kind of sad that we've only had one Justin Bieber and Future collab since then, and it's them both featuring on a Don Toliver song, but I feel like they could work well together and could have worked better on a different song. This is coming in 14th spot, only because of Future, and is the last of that 3-song grouping that I don't like on this album. But my god do we bounce back strong. Swap It Out is another sort of iconic song on this album to me, and perfection really. The vocals are great, the beat's great, and it's super fun to sing, which I always value. I love the lyrics too, like some of the other lovey-dovey songs on the album that are also ranking highly. Like how Change Me and One Life are vying for 2nd place, Swap It Out and Confident are fighting for 4th here. And since we know where I've placed Confident, I've given the edge to Swap It Out at number 4. It really comes down to pure subjective taste. As much as I love how fun and addicting Confident is, Swap It Out is something I'd rather listen to on a day-to-day basis. R&B will almost always get the nod for me in these 50-50s. I like Memphis, and I think it's very different from this album. I feel like it's the biggest sonic prelude to purpose out of any of the songs on the project. Like, I could hear it on that album while so many other songs are distinctly journal songs to me. But then I was thinking about it later on and I was like, it also sounds like it could be on Believe. So I guess in my brain it doesn't fit journals, but that's not really a criticism, it was just something I thought about. I really like the deeper voice Justin sings and uses in this song. I think it works really well and complements it the best. I'm also a fan of Big Sean and tend to like his features and a lot of his own stuff. So no surprise, I like him on this song too, and think he and JB work well and sound good together. But it does just make me think that this is such a better complementary duo or song really than what Justin and Future did. It's coming in at number 9. And we've made it to the final song, Flatline. And with our last spot left to fill, I've put Flatline at 13th. And I think it's there very safely, meaning it's not really close to 12th and all bad, but also decently separated from those bottom 3. First and foremost, the constant heart monitor beeping just gives me anxiety. I don't appreciate that and find it a bit annoying on a song. It just makes me think I have tinnitus or something. And outside of that, apart from thinking there are just better songs on the album, I find it a bit bland or lacking, but not horrible. I will just give a special shout out to the second verse because I do like that part. Bro slid. For a downbeat sad song, I think it works, but similarly to All Bad, I think vocally it's just not as interesting as other songs by nature of this song, which again works sometimes and is a good choice, but with his voice and talent, the singing is so good on this album, I want it unhindered on every song. And that wraps up Journals, and what I think is a very good album. For me, there's 7 to 8 songs that I love, and it's about 10 to 12 songs deep that I like, with Bad Day and All Bad being up in the air and depending on the day. And 2 to 3 songs that just shouldn't exist. Yeah, I'm talking about you, PYD, and what's happening. I stay standing changes, but I have a ton of time and love for Journals as a foundational project in Justin Bieber's discography, and a strong foray into an R&B world and sound that I think he killed. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Journals and your favourite songs in the comments, and have a nice day or night.